Hello guys, my name is Anastasia and this is one of my first attempts to start recording videos. No one laughs. Oh God, I'm a terrible comedian. So, a few things about myself. I'm a GESOL accredited English teacher. I have a proven level of English as C1. I have over 5 years of experience in corporate teaching. I taught English in large and medium scale IT companies. My experience includes more than, 3,000 of conducted classes. I also designed a business English program which was approved by the leading regional university in my country. My area of professional interest is public speaking, networking, corporate communication training, and yeah, that's what I do mostly as a teacher. In regards to me personally, you might feel that it's pretty hot here, not because of me, because of the light and in general because of the climate. This is because I'm living in Asia. I enjoy living in Asia as a digital nomad. Apart from that, what also contributes to my speaking is that I do stand-up. I love that. Yeah, so these are just a few things. So I'm going to be talking about why some people learn English for such a long time and still can't improve it the way they want. The thing is that a lot of my students have problem improving their English. They are capable of understanding what other people say. They are capable of reading, sometimes even writing, using AI of course. But mostly what they say is oh, but I can't speak English fluently or confidently, or like I feel stagnant in my level because I can only use stuff like hellos or where is my money, send me my money back, and so on and so forth, where in fact I teach my students to say stuff like, dear sir, I would like to get an update in regards to my refund that I inquired on this or that date, and they feel kind of awkward and even frustrated about that, like oh my god, I've been learning English for like this time, I've been using Murphy, I've been doing grammar and use, I've been watching series, I've been writing down and practicing, filling the gaps and blah 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 and all that stuff, but none of that works. And I get it absolutely. And the first thing I gotta say, it is not, guys, this is not because you are stupid or you are not trying enough, or which can also be the case though, but let's say you are trying hard. I try to do my best to help my students achieve fluency when speaking, and one of the things that I do, I ask them to send me voice messages. Spoiler, if I have like around 25 students, guess how many of them do send me the voice messages after saying, yeah, I will. Yeah, probably 5 if it's like the best, actually way less. So what I do is, let's say for example we discussed cinema and we learned this or that vocabulary. I asked them like, look, we learned like these 10 words, so how about you tell me about the plot of that movie using some of these phrases in a voice message, or share your thoughts on this or that controversial topic. Yeah, it's just something additional. They do have their homework in other sources, but this is just some kind of additional thing that I advise them to do. And recently, I had this pretty interesting situation when I get voice message from one of my students. And as a teacher, I've had more than like 5 years of experience, and I can definitely say whether or not the person is reading or speaking in their voice message, right? And so I'm listening to this voice message, and the language is absolutely like clear, the sentences are absolutely structured, no mistakes, everything spotless, everything's great. And I'm like, we're gonna talk about it, we're gonna have a conversation about that, baby. And we start the class. And I ask my student a question. Look, I listened to your voice message. Like, first of all, thank you very much for making an effort to do that. But I have a question to you real quick. Did you record your speaking or did you record your reading? And the student went like, well, I prepared the speech and I wrote it all down and yeah, I read it.
Guilty.
And you know what? I didn't start by saying things like, why did you do it? That was a speaking task. That is not effective, blah, 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 blah. I started this kind of guided discovery. I was like, okay, so you recorded reading. So I have a question to you, okay? So we have two options here. So option number one, that's what you did. I got a voice message which was spotless. No mistakes. It was congruent, cohesive, coherent. And then we have another option where you just have the list of words that we learned about cinema, right? For example. And let's say in this voice message, you are just going to be limited in terms of the timing, and you are going to be speaking, and yeah, you're going to be making mistakes. You're going to be using a lot of fillers, probably, like but which option do you think is better? And the student goes like, well, feels like the second, but it has a lot of mistakes and stuff. And then I went further. I said, look, what do you think we learn English for? We learn that to pass some kind of exam in front of me so that I can assess your voice messages. Do we learn English to record perfect voice messages? Do we learn English to fill in the gaps? Or do we learn English to speak freely with people, with real people, like you and me or whatever? And the student goes like, oh, well, okay, I guess the second, so what you're getting at. And then I went further. I said, again, I kept on asking my student questions instead of lecturing them. Because this is called guided discovery, and this is where like a student has to find out and answer those questions to themselves. So, do you think you're going to have that much time and those conditions when you, before speaking to a real person, you have the opportunity to go, okay, so they asked me what my favorite movie is. There we go. I'm going to write that down. Wait a moment, you native speaker. I'm going to write it down. I'm going to prepare that all, and I'm going to say this to you only after that. Feels like this is not gonna happen. And then the student is starting to smile because they were starting to realize that their approach was exacerbated by this kind of school attitude to language learning. I don't know, guys, if you had that in your countries, but in my country, we had a pretty rigorous school system where mistakes were something bad, something that deserved reprimand. But according to one of the greatest methodologists in English language learning, Stephen Krashen, he says that mistakes are the evidence of development. So if you make mistakes, you evolve, and there is no way you can learn a new thing, whatever, starting from English learning up to even going to the gym or cooking, whatever, you name it. You will always make mistakes. You will only not make mistakes if you sit on your cell phone. That's what my dad said. And I trust my dad, absolutely, in every aspect. This is the point that you are going to make mistakes, and you are either going to embrace it, or you're going to be like squeezing that inside, feeling pressure inside, and what? Do you think it's going to help you? These feelings that you have actually inside, this fear and pressure, I mean, this is all understandable, we're not blaming for that, but this is called the affective filter. Affective filter is the complex of emotions that we experience when we feel fear, when we start to speak. And the way to reduce this affective filter is to, again, embrace your mistakes. Saying things like, yes, I make mistakes, yeah, like there is no way I can get out of it. But then you're going to free up this space for creativity and space for speaking. So the conclusion that we got from that story with my student is that when you do such tasks as recording voice messages, it has to be freer practice. A voice message full of real thoughts, real emotions, mistakes, fillers like I'm doing right now. But this is going to be you speaking in real life. And the more you practice, of course, it doesn't go without learning grammar, like filling the gaps, and all these boring kind of tasks. It has to go all together. And the more you practice, the shorter the distance between your thoughts and your expression of those thoughts gets. It's kind of probably in a way fake it till you make it. I don't know, maybe that resonates with you. You know what? I want to make some interesting connection between language learning and one of the hobbies that I have. It's actually one hobby. But anyway, in my opinion, I don't have that much experience in stand-up to share that with you. Like, you can skip it right now. But how stand-up helps me with language teaching and learning is that in stand-up you have to embrace your fears and your stupidity and your being awkward and all of that, and you free up the space for real creativity. You go on stage, you make a joke, no one laughs, and instead of saying something, oh my god, I'm a terrible comedian, I'm not gonna make it, you kind of embrace it. It's like, well yes, but I'm gonna make it like funnier next time. Or you even make a joke about no one laughs. So when you kind of embrace it, like kind of hug it, then it's going to help you. Like, you know, self-criticism and self-acceptance, self-awareness in this regard helps a lot in language learning. And actually, I want to tell you this, I have some students who are at their beginner level. Beginner level, if that makes any sense, these are people who barely count to 10, who know just a few nouns and that's all. Sometimes they don't. I have these students, right? And I have students who are of higher levels, like let's say B1 and so on and so forth. They know a lot of stuff. But you know what? Sometimes my beginner students are doing better in terms of progress than the ones who are at their B1 level because of their attitude, with their attitude of kind of embracing mistakes. Because even at their beginner level, they start speaking with me using words like today, good breakfast, and my family, time, good, and so on. And they, speak like this. They say what they can say, but their effort, their intention, and the way they, their aptitude is so great that you understand that we are going to make progress with this guy or girl because they do not feel ashamed of looking funny, and they're open-minded. And there are people on the other hand who start classes with me, for example, who are their B1 level, and they have so much, they know so much, really, like a lot of potential. And they can definitely do great in business, presenting projects and so on, because some of these people come to me to present projects and so on and so forth. But guess what? The way they speak, it's like, today I'm going to present you a project which is connected with the area of one, and you look at them and you think like, come on, you know everything. All you need to do is just like kind of inhale, exhale, calm down and think. On the one hand, I'm going to do great, or I'm going to do well at the very least. And yes, I might make mistakes, but that's alright. Just stay confident. Try to maintain this confident demeanor. Actually, talking about confident demeanor, I have a lot of thoughts and, well, decent amount of experience. And I would also like to share how to present your speech in a more confident way. And that is also about being open-minded, breathing where needed, and using body language and so on and so forth. So I was just saying that the difference between those people about whom we might think, oh, he's just a beginner, he's not doing that well, and so on and so forth. Sometimes they're doing better than people who know way more than they do, only because of their learner's aptitude. This is your attitude to learning, your openness, your ability to embrace mistakes, your ability to reduce this affective filter that I told you about. That's all about not being afraid to look funny, like on stage, look ridiculous. It's about not being afraid to make fun of yourself in your head a little bit, because this is how you evolve through your failures, but not blaming yourself for it. Yeah, I guess that's what I meant. So to sum up guys, I hope you enjoyed that video, at least a little bit, because I was like, mostly I was doing that without preparation, and that was pretty all honest and on the spot, because I wanted to share that with you. And I think we would like to summarize that just don't be afraid of making mistakes, learn from it, and have fun learning languages, have fun learning how to speak in a more confident way. And I hope I'm going to make more videos, and I hope that they're going to be insightful and useful to you. So have a good night, day, morning, whatever you have, and have a good life in general. Stay curious, stay open-minded. We'll stay in touch.